Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We are thrilled to be with you for our 31-minute call. My name is Brandy Osterman, and I'm part of our sales leadership team. I get the privilege of not only leading our national executive directors, but our Team 31 Direct team as well. And part of working with our national executive directors, I get to work with this beauty that's on with us tonight, Martine. I know that you are all going to love your time with her. Not only is she going to give you great business tips tonight, but you are going to love her heart. You're going to fall in love with her as much as I have, and tonight's going to be a lot of fun. We were laughing just a second ago together, and we said we got to pull ourselves together. We're just having a lot of fun already. So we hope that not only are you going to walk away with really some great business practices to implement in your business, but you're going to have some fun with us as well. So with that, I just want to do a warm welcome to Martine. Obviously, I shared I love her heart, but I just want to share with you that this is big. Martine not only has served on PAC and on Leadership Council, but she is an 11-year veteran with us, and she's got a lot of knowledge to share with you. She also is a member of our Leadership Values Board, so when I say that she's kind of a big deal, she's a big deal. So Martine, don't be embarrassed by that. Own it, girl, because I know you worked hard for all of that, and you care so much about this business. You care so much about 31. So, I would just love, before you kind of get started in the business side of what you're going to share tonight and really sharing about, blocking off your calendar and that being an important practice in your business, I just want to know, share with us kind of your heart about what 31 has impacted in your life, or the value that it plays in your life, before we kick off here.
And that is a loaded question. When you kind of shared that with him, like, wow, it really is a loaded question. I mean, there's different seasons throughout the business. It's provided different things, but I think overall for me, to give me the opportunity to empower and encourage other women over the last 11 years, I've always known that I was put on this earth to encourage and to help other people. And before 31, it was through cardiac rehab. And so when I started this little purse gig, I was wondering, okay, Lord, how are you going to use me, to help other people selling purses? And it was all in building a team and having women come on from, all walks of life and being able to encourage them. So for sure, being able to fulfill my passion and use my gifts to encourage other people. And then, just flexibility and freedom are the two words that keep coming up in my mind as well. Having the flexibility to work my business when and where, not if I'm going to work my business, but have the flexibility of when I want to work those, and be able to go to the kids, sporting events, and go to the school when I need to, when they need me, I can be there. And so the flexibility and the freedom of choices, it's been huge for sure.
Yeah, I love that. I just even wrote down like flexibility and freedom. Those are some powerful words. And I love that even you hit on your family, because one of the things I love most about you is that you put a value to what matters most in your life, and your business is a priority to you, but I know that your family is number one. It's a top priority in your life. And so share with us a little bit about the impact that 31 has had, not just on you and your team, but really just your family as well.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember sitting in my husband's lap when I had Lucas. He's 12, he'll be 13 in January. And I can remember, being at the hospital on my 2-week leave, and just that time was coming up, and I just remember crying, sitting in his lap going, I can't get back to work. I can't get back to work. I can't imagine leaving him. And some of you may be watching and thinking, I couldn't wait to go back to work, to get away from my kiddos. So we all have a different story, but for me, it was just really being able to be there with my kids and to see those firsts, and to be able to, take them places that we never would have dreamt of going had it not been for my business with 31. So we could spend this whole call talking about the impact it's had on my family, but I think it's really cool to see my kids appreciate business and appreciate hard work, and how that's raising them up to see that if they set their mind to something and they work hard, that they can achieve things in their life and be able to use their gifts to make a difference in other people's lives. So that's the hope and the legacy that I hope I'm leading them through this business.
I love that. I bet we've got, over 100 people on the call with us tonight. I know you're already inspiring them and encouraging them. Tonight we are focused on really a key basic in the business, which is calendar blocking. And ladies, I just have to share with you, the reason why I'm so excited for Martine to share on this is because I think it was purposeful to pick someone who understands that your family and the things that matter most to you come first. And your business, allows for that flexibility, it allows for that freedom to even put the things that matter most to you first. And so, if it was me listening in on a call about how to block off my calendar, and I'm thinking, I've got so much going on. I mean, come on, it's 2017 we're living in. I want to listen to someone who can help me really get focused on what matters most, but also have a thriving business. And I have to, I don't know if you're going to give yourself a shout out, but I'm going to let you do that because I want to teach women that, hey, own that you are awesome in this business. But with that, Martine is a top performer. She's consistently hitting over $2,000 in sales per month, if not more. I've given some shout outs of the things that she's accomplished in the 11 years with us. And she also has been top in state. So I'm excited to listen to you, and I want you to own what you've accomplished and even share more with everyone. But with that, I'm going to turn it over to you to share about the importance of calendar blocking, and I know you've got incredible tips with us. And then afterwards, we're going to open it up with some Q&A tonight where everyone can kind of ask you questions. So I'm going to go ahead and stop my video so that you're the main focus. You look great, and I know you've got a lot to share. So I'm turning it over to you, friend.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks, Brandy, and I am honored to be on here tonight to share with you. It's really just a very, very simple system. It's something that I have used over the 11 years that I have been in business, and I get asked all the time, how do you stay consistent in the business? How do you continue to show up in your personal business and also have a life outside of 31 and also, support your team? And it's through this system. There's no magic bullet, magic equation. It's really just we schedule what matters most to us. We prioritize what matters most to us. If it's important to you, you will schedule it in. And so early on, I was taught this system from my coach. She was a speaker at National Conference, a plug for National Conference. Make sure you're attending National Conference because you take away so much from that. And you don't know, it could be that one thing, that one simple system like calendar blocking that changes your business or changes your balance of working from home and having a family life as well. So calendar blocking is something that you can easily implement tonight, and I'm going to challenge you to do that at the end of this call. But what is calendar blocking, or more importantly, why should you calendar block? Well, I already said that, what's important, what matters most, we want to make sure we schedule that in. So I want you to think about, I'm going to explain the system first, and then I'm going to show you in my calendar, and then we'll open it up at the end for Q&A. But I want you to look at your calendar over the next 90 days. And actually, I want you to go through January. And so this is something I do every 90 days. I'm taking out my calendar. I'm looking at the dates. And there are three things that I am calendar blocking. Number one, as Brandy was saying, is my family time, because it is important that I spend time with my family. It is important to me that my husband and I have date night every Friday night, or on most Friday nights, hopefully. That's important to us. And so if it's important, you schedule it in. So I go over the 90 days, and with a pink, you can use a pink highlighter. I'm going to show you my pink stickies here in a minute. That's what I use. And I just go through the 90 days. It could be a sporting event. It could be a field trip of one of my boys. It could be, again, just simply date night, vacation, anything that's important to you to show up for your family. That's, to me, the most important. That's what matters most to me. So they go on my calendar first. Secondly, I go through and I highlight any personal development days that I need to make sure I'm not scheduling a party on, and those are with the blue sticky. Again, you can use a highlighter if you want. Keep it simple. And so personal development, that could be every Monday night. We're having 31 minutes calls. Go ahead and block that out in your calendar, because you're going to get a good investment, a good return on that investment of your time, because you're personally developing yourself. You have to carve out that time, make time for yourself to sharpen your own saw, because you are probably pouring into a lot of people, whether it be your team members, your hostesses, your customers, it could be your family members. So personal development doesn't necessarily have to just be on TOT. There's a plethora of information on there for you for personal development, but it could be listening to a free podcast. It could be reading a book. Some type of personal development should be on your calendar every single month. So I go ahead and highlight that out for 90 days. Your Better Together meetings, national conference. You're going to see in my planner here in just a minute, Leadership Summit. So those are blocked out. So I know not to schedule anything else because personal development is important to me. And then the third one is green. So green is for money. So those are the nights that I'm going to party. So again, I go throughout the 90 days and I mark out the dates that I'm going to party. And why that is important for parties is that your parties is what matters most in your business. Your personal business, no matter whether you're a brand new consultant or you're a national executive director, your personal business is priority or should be priority. And again, there's lots of things we can get busy with in this business, and things will start filling up your calendar before you know it. You'll be looking at your calendar and you haven't worked on getting parties on your calendar. And so this simple system will help you keep all three things in harmony in your business and in your life. So it's very, very simple. The other thing with the green stickies that it does for me, it keeps me accountable. So when I go over the next 90 days, I'm able to decide, okay, what are my goals? How many parties do I want to have over the next 90 days? And when I put that green sticker on there, that's a commitment to myself. That's a commitment to my business. That's what I've set aside. And then I'm able to communicate that also to my family, so they know what to expect. They know the nights mommy's going to be gone. They know the nights mommy is going to be working, and that just makes that so much easier when you are leaving home or when you have a call or you have a Facebook party, whatever it is. But that helps me set my goals, helps me keep accountable to that. And then at the end of the month, I can look at my calendar and I can say, wow, look, I can celebrate because there was a name in every single one of those green squares. Or I can look back at the end of the month or the 90 days and say, okay, there were some missed opportunities there. I didn't fill all of those dates in there. What went wrong? And so it's just good awareness. If you're not tracking things in your business, if you're not able to really look at things in the black and white, then it's really easy to say, man, I was really busy last month, or I was really busy over these 90 days. But were you busy or were you in business? And there is a difference. And your personal business needs to be one of those priorities. It is what matters most in your business, so that you can connect with other people, so that you can continue to grow your business and share this amazing opportunity that I talked about in the very beginning. The flexibility and the freedom, y'all, there are women out there that they desire those two things. And we need to get in front of as many of them as we can so they can hear that story and they can see that you have something that they could benefit from. So I'll also say that when I show you my calendar, it's a great recruiting tool. So when I get to my parties, I actually take my calendar with me, and they see that I have pink squares, green squares, and blue squares. It's funny because they'll ask me, what is that all about? And I share with them, my family is very important to me. And one of the things I love about my business is I have the flexibility, to carve out those times that are important to them. And then my personal development, and then of course my party days. So they see that I'm in control of when I want to work. And I hear a lot of times from my team, or just many of you in the field, the overwhelm and the not sure how to get those confirmations on your calendar. So I also want you to think about it. If you don't know the dates that you want to party, how are you able to communicate that to someone at the party when they say, yeah, I want to have a party? Do you say, awesome? You get so excited, you say, when would you like to have a party in November? And you just give them the whole month. For me, that is very overwhelming. But if you say to me, I'm so excited, I cannot wait to get together with your friends. Here are my next 2 available dates. And then you give them to her. You're more likely to get her to confirm a date if you talk to her that way and you actually give her 2 options instead of 30 options to hold a party. In your first 2 available dates. But you can't do that if you haven't done the work ahead of time and actually went through your calendar and blocked out those dates. So I find when I have someone say, well, I need to go check my calendar, right? How many times do you hear that? Yes, I want to book a party, but I need to go look at my calendar. So I immediately turn back to her and I get my calendar and I say, great. I said, here are my next 2 available dates, my next 2 Tuesdays. Does a Tuesday or a Thursday work for you? And she'll usually say, oh, Tuesdays aren't good, but Thursday, or whatever she says, whatever day she says. And then I'll say, great, here are my next 2 Thursdays. Which one works best for you? And before you know it, you've got her penciled in or pinned in to your calendar. But you just have to kind of walk them through the process, because just giving them the options of any time throughout the month to host a party can be very overwhelming to today's already overwhelmed, overloaded, busy woman. And so you have to do that work ahead of time. You have to know what dates that you want to party so that you can stay in control of your calendar. And if you just give them the whole month, then you're probably going to book parties on days that work best for her, which means it may fall on a day that was important to your family, or in a day when you're supposed to have or attend a personal development meeting, or your team is having a meeting, a training, a 31-minute call, something that you know is going to personally develop you. So if you're blocking all those things out, then nothing overlaps, and you have time for everything. And you have time for what matters most, which is your family, which is your personal development, and it is your personal business. So let me just show you really quickly in my calendar so you can get a visual. I'm a visual learner, so I will share with you. So this is my November. So you can see in blue, I have these are personal development. So this is Leadership Summit that's going to be coming up in November. You can see the green squares here, and all of them have names in them. I'm super excited, except for this one right here. So guess what I need to do? I need to be working on my VIP group, or get on that 100-pound phone and make some phone calls. And then you see pink. So obviously with Thanksgiving, I've got some pink family days in there. Football season is over right now, so there's not as much pink on there as there normally is. But why I use these the stickies is because how many times have you had a cancellation or scheduling of a party? And I got kind of annoyed, is that good grammar? Annoyed with scratching out in my calendar. So this way I can just, she reschedules, I can just take that off and move it on to the next month. So that's why I use those. Don't get hung up on exactly what you're using. These are from Post-it note, but you can use anything you want. You can use washi tape. Those of you that are super creative and like to use washi tape, you can use that. But that's what my customers are seeing when they come to my party. I don't have everything on this calendar. This is those 3 areas so that it stays clean and neat, but they see that I'm in control of my calendar. And it's really funny when they look at it, because they're not used to seeing someone's calendar in that way. So it's very simple: pink, blue, and green. That's your calendar blocking. So again, your personal business is what matters most. I will say that one of the things I shared last time I was talking about this, I think on another call, was, the feeling of working a lot from home and you're trying to harmonize time with your family. And one of the things I had to learn early on was to really sit down and have a conversation with my kids. So my kids are 9 and 12, and really asking them what's important to them. Is it important to them that I'm at every practice? Is it important to them that I'm at every game? Is it important that I go on all the field trips? Because I'm trying to calendar block, I'm trying to keep things in harmony. And there are a lot of times where I felt like I needed to be at everything, when really it didn't matter to them that I was at every practice. They just wanted me at the games. It didn't matter that, the field trip or whatever it was, they just wanted me to be at home with them or be engaged with them and have movie night one night a week. So have those conversations too as you're doing your calendar blocking, as you're blocking out that pink square with your family, and truly ask them what's important to them so that you are making sure you're blocking out the time that matters most to them and not just what you think is important to them. So that's just kind of a little side note there. Brandy, you have something to say?
Yeah, I'm glad. No, I zoomed on. I'm just so glad that you hit on that, because we had an attendee that's listening in tonight just ask about that in a way, just to say, I find it extremely difficult to set dates each month due to 4 kids in 4 different schools and my husband's schedule consistently changing. This is how I'm thinking she's, I feel that way. And childcare becoming an issue. What do you suggest for moms like me? And I really love that you hit on that, to sometimes we hold expectations for ourselves that maybe others in our family or others around us aren't seeing what we're seeing. And so I love that you brought that up, of asking your family, you know, what would be important for me to be a part of. So hopefully that helps there.
Well, it's just surprising the answer that they'll give you. It's not what you think it is. And I will say that word freedom, like having that conversation, even with my youngest child, it just was amazing. Like having a cooked meal, like mommy cooked meal, which people that know me know I'm not a chef. I don't like to cook. That's not my favorite thing to do. They didn't care that whether mommy cooked it or not. They just wanted us to be together for dinner. And not every night, you know? So it will be eye-opening if you do that. If you're feeling overwhelmed and trying to figure out how to do everything, you're not expected to do everything. And you probably could do everything, but you shouldn't do everything because you're going to cheat something. So prioritizing and really figuring out what matters most. We know our personal business matters most. We know personal development. We know our family does. Even in each of those categories, what does that look like? Does that help?
Yeah, I think that helps. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. You're good.
We do have a couple other questions if you,
Sure. Yeah.
But I don't want to stop you sharing on your calendar blocking.
Let me give the call to action, and
Yes,
then if we want to go to the questions, that'd be great. Okay. So I want you to take your calendar, and I want you to look between now all the way through January 1st, because January, we need to be planning now for January, because holidays are coming, you're going to get busy. And if you get busy and you're not carving out that time to go ahead and plan out your January, then it'll be here before you know it. So all the way out through January. And then you want to decide the family days. So between now and January, what are those family times that you want to make sure like you're not going to miss? Like these are non-negotiables for you and your family, for you to show up. Second, then decide on your personal development days. And again, this doesn't all have to be 31. There's so much information on there, and you should be, tuning into 31 Minutes calls. You should be tuning into your upline trainings that she may be providing on Facebook. Those are done specifically to help you grow in your business. And you know the skill set maybe that you need to be sharpened in. So it could be, if it's bookings, there's information on TOT about bookings. Carve it out that time to invest in yourself. It will not return void if you carve it out and then you actually put some action behind that. But if you don't carve it out, you're just going to get busy doing something else. So personal development. And then the third one is your party dates. So between now and January, what are going to be the dates that you party on? And this is not necessarily like set in stone. There are times, like you may have noticed on my calendar, Friday night is supposed to be date night every Friday night, but there's a couple of hostesses that they prefer Friday nights. And so I don't mind. I have the flexibility to switch date night around that week, knowing that that Friday is going to be with my hostess. So don't get, like super strong. If you can be flexible, then be flexible with your hostesses. But this just kind of gives you an outline and a place to start so that you feel like you're in control of your calendar. You're not feeling stressed out. You're not trying to keep all these things, all this plates in the air spiraling around. So
I love that.
That's your call to action. And I want you to share number 3 with your upline. So the days, your party goals and the days that you've committed to having parties between now and January 1st. I'd really love to see you share that with your upline director, maybe your accountability partner, someone that you are connected to in your business that can hold you accountable to that and that can celebrate with you when you have reached that goal. Because I know you're going to, because now you know the system and now you know how simple it can be.
I love that. I love sharing that. And I think too, the piece of accountability, right? So a couple questions that are coming through. Thank you for just making sure that we got the call to action in here. We'll, make sure we finalize with that as well so everyone's clear on it. But it's really, I think, so simple. That's what I love about your system. It's duplicatable, it's simple, and really effective. And so there's a couple questions that are coming through, and I do want to open it up for others to ask any questions before we end tonight. Bridget writes in, do you have, and I think you kind of hit on this, but maybe you can expand for us, Martine. Do you calendar block / schedule working days like administrative, like social media posting, etc. So I think she's kind of getting into, what you do for your team. Where does that kind of that fit into some of your calendar blocking?
It is. So like Mondays are typically my coaching call days. So I know for me, and everybody works differently or handles how they manage their time and they manage their energy differently. But for me, keeping it in categories. So I know on Mondays, if I'm doing coaching calls, like that's where my brain's at. I know I'm going to be on the phone. I know that I'm going to be, really trying to help people individually. And then, Tuesdays would be hostess coaching. So I know I'm going to be talking to hostesses. So you kind of get in a zone when you categorize that. So whether it's an hour that day that you focus just on hostess coaching, or you just focus on following up with your recruit leads, those don't go on this calendar because this is one that I want to be able to take to my parties and then see how simple all that is. They don't want to see all of my appointments on there. But yes, for me, I do better when I categorize the time so I can keep my brain in one focus.
Love that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a question, and I apologize. We might have to just get a little bit more clarity on the question. It says desired 2 things, ? So maybe if you could write in just a little bit more clarity on that for us, we could help to answer that. Okay, so as we're waiting for a couple additional questions come in, just so you know, you're getting some love. I love listening to Martine. Someone writes in, dang it, now you've got me wanting to buy one of those calendars. So that's funny. You had mentioned that women desire 2 things.
I did? Flexibility and freedom.
Yeah.
So, there's someone at every single one of your parties, whether they're online or they're face-to-face, that are desiring freedom. They want to have that flexibility and freedom to make choices on how they spend their time, who they spend their time with, how much work they are going to do. I mean, you think about somebody in corporate America, someone else is telling them when to show up and how much work to do, and the flexibility is less. So that's something that over the 11 years that I have realized sometimes I have taken for granted because I've gotten used to it, and then when I talk to someone who's working full time and they're not enjoying their job, some of you work full time and you love what you do, and I'm so happy that you do, but there are women at your parties that are desiring flexibility and freedom, and we have that.
Love that. Thanks for clarifying in that. We have someone asking, what are your other categories for Wednesday and Friday? So you shared Monday, Tuesday. So of course they want more from you, just as, compliment to you.
Right. So, and this is another thing that I learned from coaching and from having a mentor and a coach. So shout out to, having a coach and having an accountability partner, having someone that you can learn from and bounce ideas off of. But there are really 5 big rocks in your business. And you probably have heard the analogy, I think it's Stephen Covey, who is teaching to a class, and he has a hurricane vase or vase, however you want to say that, on the table. And he has he puts these big rocks inside there. And he asks the class, is the glass full? And they say yes. And then he takes tiny pebbles and he pours those in there, and they fill in all the spaces, in between those big rocks. Then he asks them again, is the glass full? And they say yes, kind of with some hesitation. And then he takes sand, he pours sand in there, and the sand fills in some of the spots. And then he asks them again, and they're like, at this point, they're trying to figure out what he's doing. And so then he takes a pitcher of water, and he pours the water in there, and he says, okay, class, what is the point of this illustration? And someone stands up and says, no matter how much time, how much you put on your schedule, you can always add one more thing. And he said, no, the point of the illustration is if you don't get the big rocks in first, you won't get them in at all. And so that's what calendar blocking does. And that's what prioritizing what those big rocks are. So for your business, it's your bookings, it's holding parties, it's hostess coaching, it's recruiting, whether it be following up with your recruit leads, putting together packets. And then the 5th one is coaching. So that would be spending time with your new consultants, spending time if you're trying to develop new leaders. Those are the 5 big rocks of your business that you should have sprinkled in every single week and you'll know that you're getting return on your time invested. Because there's a lot of things we could focus on, right, in this business. But those are the big rocks, and those are what will push the needle for you.
Love that. I knew we would get so much more out of you than just what we had planned. I love it. Okay, so you're getting great feedback. Thank you. Love this. Leslie's asking if you do personal training. Now, I don't know if she knows that you're super fit or if she just means personal training in this business. I'm not sure how to take that one, but Leslie, just so you know, she's consistent at her working out and putting her health as a priority too. But will you come over to my place? So I don't know, Leslie will have to follow your business page and connect with you there, but I love that. I'm loving, so Cassie writes in, I'm loving Martine's system. Hold on, let me just move this over so I can see. I need glasses now these days. What's nice is that we can add different colors for other things. Example, I'm a pastor's wife, so I've added orange for church activities, responsibilities. Love that, Cassie.
Yeah, I mean, make the system your own. Just, keep it simple. Don't do a lot of adding things to it, because then you're back to that overwhelming feeling where you've got, especially if you open up your calendar, you have all these different things on there. So keep it simple, but make it work for you. Everybody is different on how they schedule. Some people don't even use paper anymore. I'm a mutt. I use both. I have my phone with my Cozy app on there, which I love. And then I use my paper planner for my parties and personal development and family time. So yeah, and you brought up, how to connect with me, and I wanted to share this with you just because a lot of times after these calls, I'll get a lot of friend requests on Facebook, and it's not that I don't want to be friends with y'all, but the best place for you to connect with me, honestly, is on my business page. So it's on Facebook as well. It's just Martine N. Williams instead of Martine Nash Williams. So go over there because if you send me a friend request, I may not even see it, or it's not to be, that I'm not trying to be friends with everybody, but you'll be served more on the business page.
Perfect.
Business tips and things over there. I'm not sharing business on my personal page. Lindsay writes in, I love this. I love the idea of the pink, blue, and green. She's already taken action, so that's amazing. Awesome.
Do you attend vendor events? So, and there's another question here, Martine, about just kind of managing online parties, and not to, answer for you, but I think for you kind of look at it as that those are parties, right? Those are kind of, whether it's online or it's face-to-face, those are parties for you that are going on.
Yeah. So I have a green one that says Facebook. You can't read that because it's backwards. But I mean, if it's a Facebook party, if I know I can't really have a physical party that night because we have football games or whatever, but I know I could do a 9 o'clock Facebook party, then again, that's part of that planning process. Then I know ahead of time, okay, I can still get my 6 parties in or my 4 parties in. 2 are going to be home parties and 2 are going to be online parties, or 3 are going to be face-to-face and 3 are going to be online. So you know that in advance, hopefully. You may have to change things around if activities change with family. But yes, green counts for both. And you know what? If I have a cancellation at the last minute, I still set the time to work my business that day and that night. So spend that time following up, making booking calls. Don't just say, well, that party canceled, so I'm not working tonight. You already cleared your schedule for it. So take that time to invest in your business.
Okay, I'm just trying to catch up. So some of these, I feel like we've kind of already answered. Can you repeat the 5 big rocks, which was book, party, hostess coach, recruiting, and then coaching were your 5 big rocks there. You say you block out family, like practice, etc. How do you block when you are unsure of your kids' sports? So I think you
practice the core value being flexible.
Yeah. It's on a post-it that you get to move, right? So that's good.
And there have been times where, I had it laid out. Thankfully, I didn't have all of the dates booked yet. And then they changed the schedule. So the year before, it was like games were on Monday, Wednesdays. And so I didn't book parties on Monday, Wednesday, I did Tuesday, Thursday. And the next season, it was the opposite. And so you just have to be flexible, go with the flow. That's why I say, this doesn't have to be, in stone. But this just gives you a place to start thinking ahead, planning ahead, and then making sure you're keeping what matters most scheduled. I was telling Brandy before, the best analogy I can give you is your hair. We make time for our hair appointment and we don't skip that bad boy, do we? Like, it's a priority. And if, before we even leave that appointment, we're already booking our next one because that's how important it is to us. So think about that when you're thinking about those 3 colors and making sure they're on your calendar because they're important to you, just like your hair is important to you for most of us. So you don't miss that hair appointment. Don't miss your parties. Don't miss that personal development, and don't miss that time with your family. And I've had people say, you really schedule in that time? Yes, because it's so easy just to lose track of time. And is it, romantic to schedule all these date nights out? And it's not romantic, but you know what? It's not going to get done if it's not on the calendar for either one of us, because kids' activities will come up. Same thing with scheduling time with your kids. Whatever you have to do to make sure it gets done. That's my.
I do find it romantic that you're putting Shaw first. So, even if you have to block it off, that's just this day and age, right? So don't give yourself a hard time there. Okay, so lots of great feedback about already putting these into action or coming off this call and putting into action. I know we're a little bit over time, and I just want to be cautious of your time, Martine, and everyone that's joined us tonight. I think a lot of people are asking for even more advice outside of calendar blocking, and I think you shared with them a great place to connect with you on some business tips outside of this. Things that I'm
last week and the week before, I shared kind of in celebration of my 11-year anniversary with 31, I shared my 11 top tips. So that's all over on Facebook on my business page. There's a video. It's still there. You can go watch them. I think there's 3 or 4 different videos.
Oh, perfect. Okay, great. So just really, really great feedback. I think we hit on a lot of the questions that I'm just seeing here, and I love this. One, I love that it comes up as CJ's Fire. So I feel like that's kind of cool of a name. I feel like I need to change my username, but CJ was just, I feel like we could laugh at us just saying like, I used to schedule sleep in there. So she's, probably just going along with you and just like, you got to schedule important. So I feel you on that one, CJ. So perfect. Just to confirm, you post on your business about your business page only. As it came up, and yes, you're using your business page to post about great business practices in your business. So that's perfect. All right. Well, like I said, I'm just thrilled. I wrote down a lot here. Key things that stood out to me. I love kind of your call to action. I felt like it was really simple. People are already taking it into action tonight. And I love that. I love how you even said, like, share it with an accountability partner, share it with an upline. And, one thing I think that also stood out was just that flexible and that freedom. And that's what really women are after. And so if you can just show them that, I think that they can have even success with individuals joining their team as well and starting their own team. So thank you. It's so important that we're putting what matters most first. So before we end tonight, I'll let you close everyone, but I'll say thanks to everyone and just thank you, Martine, for your time tonight and helping everyone tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much, Brandy, for having me. It's, I want every one of you to feel that freedom and to feel the flexibility, and more structure means more freedom. It just does, because you feel like you're more in control of your time. You're managing your energy. You're spending time on things that truly matter to you, because again, just being busy doesn't mean you're in business. Just being busy doesn't mean you're actually spending time with the people and the things that are going to fulfill your life, and scheduling it in will truly make sure that all of those things that mean the most to you will be a part of your life. You'll be spending time in the right places. And that's what we want. And that's what we want. And that's what other women want. And that's what they want to see. And when they see that through you, they're going to be like, I want that. Mm-hmm. So we attract, those people to us when they see that we have a mission, that we're living life on purpose, and that we are living the life that we desire to live. So that's what scheduling does.
Awesome. Thanks
for having me. I hope this was helpful.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.